Hi guys, so it is the second Saturday for NaNoWriMo Prep, and I was going to film this vlog publicly today, holding the tripod out in front of my face and all of that good stuff, but Hurricane Matthew has other ideas. The wind and the rain. Thanks, Matthew. Thanks. So I don't think it's the greatest idea to put my phone out in front of my face in the middle of a hurricane. So I'm sitting on my porch. I'm going to do it right here. So at some point, since I agreed to make a video every day for NaNoWriMo, I'm going to have to get used to walking around and talking to a lens, because I'm not going to have an hour every day to spend quietly in a room or something like that. So I have to film my days as they go, and that's terrifying. All right, guys, I'm gonna go brave this storm, and I'll let you know what I learned when I get back. I just got back from my class, and it's time to talk about characters. As we get closer and closer to Nano, I'm sure many of you guys are starting to ramp up on your ideas on what you're gonna write about. And one of the biggest things to think about is who's gonna be in your story. And so that's where a character comes in. And the beautiful thing about characters is you can write them indefinitely. They have an entire life before your story starts. They have an entire life after your story ends. Even if you're writing a series of books, typically they don't follow from their very beginning. So it's really nice to be able to flesh out those ideas, and this month can give you that opportunity to do that before Nano even starts. So my number one tip for writing characters is to go out into public. Sit at a coffee shop for an hour, or go to your Walmart, go grocery shopping, something. But instead of sticking in your own head, pay attention to what everybody else is doing. Pay attention to the way people speak, how conversations are built, and how people interact with one another. Some of the best minor characters I've ever written, and even some of the more major characters I've written, have come from ideas that I've gotten listening to people and eavesdropping. And I know it sounds kind of creepy, and there's ways to do it where you won't get caught. Just kind of maybe put one headphone in and leave one out and don't listen to anything, and just try to see if you can pick up on character traits and start writing a story about someone who you have no idea who they are. And those people can lead to great characters that you can use in your fiction. Another exercise that I really enjoy that I learned from a professor in college was to write a year before your story starts. Maybe 500 words, 1,000 words. Write 1 year before your character got into the mess that they're currently in and the reason why you're writing right now, and explore that year. And if you're stuck at a point in your story, or you're just getting started, you're thinking about your novel and you don't know exactly where it's going to begin, write that year beforehand. And it can really let you know a lot about your character, their motivations for where they are now in life, and why they've gotten into the predicament that they're in. That's super useful, and it allows you to get in the habit of writing before Nano starts, which is half the battle with Nano, is finding time to write. Another big thing that sometimes bothers people when they're writing characters is coming up with names. Now, full disclosure, I don't usually have this problem. I tend to just name my characters whatever pops into my head first and stick with it, and they kind of grow into that name. Maybe they just grow into that name in my head and I'm terrible at naming characters. But I did come up with a couple of good resources from this class, or I was informed of a couple of good resources, and I'm gonna link those in the down below. And there's always a million different ways to find names. If you look at IMDb and you look at kind of cast and crew credits, there's hundreds of names there. The back of textbooks, if you have those, baby name generators, which is one of the things I'm going to be linking down below. And any of those kind of resources, just peruse through them, find a letter that you like, and look at everything that starts with that letter. There's plenty of ways to find names, and it's honestly something not to get stuck on. If you can't think of somebody's name, just put something in there. Boy 1, main character 2, and eventually, once they have their full personality and you know them intricately, once you've spent 10,000 words with these people, you're gonna have a name for them. And if you don't, you're gonna find one, because it's gonna be easier. They'll fit into whatever that name is that you're looking at that moment. So it's not something to get caught up on, and I wouldn't waste a couple of days floundering about it. It'll come. The names will come. It's the personality that is the real thing that we need to knock out. That is all I've got today on characters. Another Saturday spent learning about NaNoWriMo, and it just makes me more excited to get into the month of November. Once again, I'm going to be daily vlogging during that time, so if you want to check those out, feel free to hit the subscribe button down below. It would help me out tremendously, and it will inform you when I post new videos. I just want to know from you guys too, because I'm not an expert on this topic, what are some of the things you do to figure out character? Do you write with them for a couple hundred words? Do you write biographies? Do you kind of fill out a stat sheet like it's Dungeons and Dragons? Down below in the comment section, feel free to leave tips there for me and anybody else who's watching these videos. And then as always, if you want to hit that like button, and if you want to share this on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you want to share it, I would absolutely love you forever. I appreciate all of the support, and I can't wait to get into the month of November and hang out with all of you Rhymos and talk about progress and talk about where our story's going and talk about head slamming against the wall because we can't figure out the next 3 words in our book. Let's follow along in this journey together, and let's build this community up, and we will succeed and win in Nano this year. My first time, your maybe many of times, but we're gonna figure it out together. And I will talk to you guys next week after I go to the plot class at the library. And then after that, I may be doing one more Nano video, and then it's gonna be November. So super exciting, and I will see you guys soon.